His Grace has offered very kindly to kind of offer a word as to the experience, what happened, maybe a little bit about kind of the aftermath of the uncovering, and certainly how everything went. Again, just as a kind, gentle reminder, if you do have side conversations, you can please just bring them as far back as possible. There are many who do want to hear about the pilgrimage and about the uncovering, and so if we could please be respectful of those who have a tougher time hearing as well. Without further ado.
Yes, well, I have come back from the uncovering of Blessed Matushka. You know, often when I start things, I'll start with prayer. You know, I'll start with saying the Jesus prayer a little bit to get calm. And this time I'd like to do it a little bit, but we'll ask for Blessed Matushka Olga to pray to God for us. In the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Blessed Matushka Olga, praying to God for us. 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 Tanqilria Arrsamquq, Arrsamquq, Agayuku. Tanqilria Arrsamquq, Arrsamquq, Agayuku. Tanqilria Arrsamquq, Arrsamquq, Agayuku. Tanqilria Arrsamquq, Arrsamquq, Agayuku. Oh, Blessed Mother Olga, praying to God for us. Blessed Matushka Olga, praying to God for us. Blessed Matushka Olga, praying to God for us. I think we all know about when Matushka Olga fell asleep in the Lord over 40 years ago, that the weather all of a sudden became like spring, so that people could come in from all around, and so that the grave could be dug. And in that, we see the characteristic of this saint who was, above all, a loving mother making sure that everything can be for her children as smooth, as easy as it can be. And this is very much what we all found and felt when we went to Tanqilria. There were several dozen planes that went there. The day before, it was blizzard conditions. But the day we were to go, Matushka Olga made sure there were clear skies and not a lot of wind. So that was kind of the first, I would say, sign that she was blessing us to do this. We got there the next day, and the clouds had covered the sky. And of course, what that means was that it would be just a little bit warmer. Again, the care of Blessed Matushka Olga for us who are laboring. We went, first to her gravesite. The fathers were up the night before, working, some of those from the village to make a little tent over where we would dig. And there was a stand for the gospel to be read. And then, we began. Before we began, I asked that everyone present pray that Matushka Olga will bless this. Pray that Matushka Olga will herself help us in the endeavor. And she certainly did. We were out there, and it was cold. We were there for, 5 hours, but no one thought of the cold. Standing for 5 hours, no one thought of their feet. The only thing we thought about was getting to our beloved Matushka Olga. And so it started. The ice pick, the axe, the priests. I was very proud of my priests. My priests were absolutely athletic. And I would say they were probably more athletic again, because Blessed Matushka Olga was actually helping them. We began with a Hida. I had been reading the gospel, and The Gospels are read when Holy Chrism is made. The Gospel at the funeral of a priest, and the Gospel is read at the uncovering of the relics of a saint. So my priests were digging. First 5 or 6 inches were difficult because it was really frozen, but then it became soft after that. And so we kept digging, inch by inch by inch, foot by foot. The hours passed, but they would be in and out, swinging, digging, and in the meantime, there was lay people were out gathering all of the dirt into bags for blessing. Some of the dirt that I brought back with me today. They kept digging and digging, and the gospel kept being read. And there's something about the gospel. You know, we hear just a little bit of the gospel every Sunday. We heard this Sunday. We heard the beautiful parable of the prodigal son. But when you hear the whole of it, we can think of, yes, that part of the life of our saint. A neighbor, in other words, someone that she felt in her heart that was a person to be loved. Kept digging. 5 feet, 6 feet. We're wondering what is going to happen. And the priest was reading the gospel according to St. Matthew. He got to the verse where it said, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, Hosanna in the highest." And Father Stephen said at that very moment, we found her. And of course, all of us, we made the sign of the cross. And, of course, I gave instructions. I said, now we have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. Because we had gotten to the point where we had gotten to the casket. And the casket was partially, actually, it had, from the weight of the dirt, and partially caved in. So the priest, we put 2 boards down so that they could stand on one board with legs crossed this way and try to dig out. We brought down the brushes, we brought down little trowels. And this was, of course, at this point, it's not easy work at all because now they have to take the dirt way over their heads. But the priests were, my priests, as I said, they were amazing. Some of them, I think, would be acrobats because the way they were going in and out. They didn't do cartwheels, but I mean, it was kind of close at points. So, we now, we could see a little bit of the copper casket, and it kind of shined out, and so we were very, very careful. Started to dig around it, and we found the handles, and so the handles were there, and so we put the ropes through on both sides for the priest to now lift up the casket. But this was, the top had been somewhat damaged, and so all of us, especially the bishop, we were praying to Matушka Olga that the bottom of the casket would be in good shape. Because the great fear, of course, was if it would be brought up, but if the bottom would come through, then it would be something that would not honor a saint, and it would be it would just be something that would make everything much, much more difficult. But what did I say at the beginning? Matушka Olga cared for the details so that it wasn't too difficult for us. And so the priest started to lift. And this is a casket now that also has dirt. So it is dirt and it has wet dirt in it. So it is very, very heavy. We started to lift it up. Everyone started singing, as loud as they could. The way we sing at the end of the service. Господи, помилуй, Господи, помилуй, Господи, помилуй. And the faith are singing, which singing the end of the, every divine service. But more importantly, that's also what we sing at the time of an ordination. So it was as though, of course, at that sacred moment, that was what was sung. It's also with the exaltation of the Christ. When the cross is lifted up, that's when the Lord have mercy is sung. So lifted it up, and thanks be to God. It was able to lift it out of the grave, and we then made the procession past the old church and to the new church. And it was, it's not a long walk, but it was a long walk with the casket. Everyone, again, we were singing Tanqilria, we were singing Holy God as we brought her, and of course we had deacons with censers, 2 deacons that were censing her. In fact, the 2 deacons that we had censed her for 5 hours straight. 5 hours straight, this motion, and not one of the deacons said that their arms were tired. And so we bring her up to the church, and then of course the church, there's steps. So you have to go up this one steps and up the next steps. And we bring her all the way. And at this point, really becomes like behind the iconostasis, behind the icon screen, the Holy of Holies. Because now, just as behind the iconostasis, that is where the bishop or the priest handles the precious body of God and body of Christ, prepares it. And Matushka, Olga, the relics had been in water now for many, many years. We had with me, one of the deacons was also a medical doctor from the lower 48. And he told me, this should smell bad because it's wet in the clothing for so many years, but there was no odor of decay. There was absolutely no smell whatsoever. So they're lifting up someone who had, fallen asleep and then had decomposed. The clothing that she was there was not, had decomposed, but her head covering was still present. Which I believe, again, because that was what she would put on when she would pray. That's what she would put on to go to communion. That's what she would put on. We have, actually from her life, she would put it on in order to get the blessing of a priest. That was still present. I had to transfer the relics, though. And there was the winding cloth underneath. The relics were wet. The winding cloth was wet. I didn't know if the winding cloth would hold to transfer her from one casket to the new one that was made by the nuns. I made the sign of the cross, and inside of Martha, please help. She helped us all the way to this one. And just as though you were taking like a little child and taking it from one bed to another, that was how easily the transfer actually took place. We, then moved the casket now to the place where the reliquary will be built around it. And we, invited the faithful to come in and venerate her. And they venerated her with tears in their eyes and just a great gratitude. Had the vigil service that night. We had divine liturgy the next morning. But it absolutely felt like Pascha. It felt the Paschal joy of Christ is indeed risen, and we see him risen. That was very much. That was the uncover, which is something that, I said that's not done anywhere. We bury our loved ones, and there they say, unless they've led lives of virtue, unless they manifest themselves to the faithful, And that manifestation shows that they want to, of course, very much be with the faithful. They pray for the faithful. And such a person, of course, was Blessed Matушka Olga. Through her prayers, may God give strength and blessing to all of us. Anything I could, but yes. She took care of it. She took care of it for us. Yes. 70. Yes.
Just add a little bit. The moment before we finished reading the Gospels to raise her out, we were reading the Transfiguration. And we got to the point where the Apostle Peter says, it is good for us to be here, O Lord. Let us make a tabernacle, one for you and one for Elijah and one for Moses. And it was at that point that the Gospel reading came to a conclusion. And of course, the line that comes after that is Peter was afraid. It was such a poignant moment. I remember hearing that when I'm standing there, like I looked at Father Herman was reading, like, okay, you read. It was very beautiful.
No,
it's good for us to be here, and that's when the passage to be raised.
That's when it was raised, and that's when I said, we've heard enough of the gospel. Bishops rarely say that, but and it was actually time. Two to 300, dozens of planes that flew in, dozens, 30. This is also
Your Grace, so we've just done the uncovering of a very significant milestone towards glorification. Maybe just as a kind of final reminder, what's the next step for St. Olga? What can we expect here as a cathedral, and what's our next step?
The next step will be the glorification will take place in Queeflup. And Queeflup will see more bishops than she has ever life. There will probably be about 8 bishops. We can informally, ask her prayers like I did at the very beginning, but when we informally actually do it as a church, in the church, takes place when we have the glorification service. The glorification service, it's basically what we do. It's matins, vespers, matins, the vigil, and in a hierarchical divine liturgy. So it's something that we all know, but now all the texts that change, they will be hymns to Blessed Matушka Olga. And so the other saints of the day will be dropped for that day, and everything will be praising her virtue, praising her patience, praising her love for the people, praising her healing of people that were suffering. And so that will we'll have that service, and there will be in attendance probably 8 bishops. And at the matins, of course, when we do the matins and we sing Clalitia, we come out and we sing, we magnify thee, and then we magnify the holy person. Well, this time we'll have the icon of Blessed Matушka Olga will come out. The relics will be in the center, and then we'll sing it to her in the center of the church. So that will be, I would say, the primary canonization, which will take place Thursday night and Friday morning. Then on Saturday night, we'll have a second celebration here in the cathedral at Anchorage. We'll also have a small relic for the cathedral. And we will have, again, we'll have hymns too. We're not quite as full as at Queethla, but we'll have hymns in her honor, and it'll be kind of a celebration joined with the resurrectional service. Then, so that's 2 celebrations. Then in July, there will be a celebration at the All-American Council in Phoenix, in which the priests from all over the Orthodox Church in America will gather and will have the celebration a 3rd time, and that will be the final celebration. So this is the Russian Orthodox celebration that we'll have up here, and then there'll be more of an American Orthodox one down in the lower Cordillera. So that's the plan. Yes.
I might have missed it. What month was
The dates will be formally announced the first week of December, but we're looking at mid to late June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then the All-American Council will be in July. So. And from that point on, Matушka Olga will continue to be part of our lives, much the way Abba Herman is, and all of our saints who have shown forth in the last. Okay. I believe, and again, of course, this beautiful feast is of course in honor of Archpriest Michael Oleska, who Matушka Olga, who loved her, who made her known, basically throughout North America and the world. And so, if Matушka Ksenia could say a few words.
Thanks, Katrina. Reach out to Amsterdam. Panguta, Ikayo Pakaku, Twina Kotoku. Unlocked you reach out like a nang Papakat, finished start. Putaki Wuduchi, Umyoks Tuku, Tak, Panagutu, Bichaga Kapsi, Ankanra, Chatagopsinu, Bicha Taksu. I'm glad you're all here today. It makes me very glad to see so many people come. And by your prayers, I have said that you have kept me upright. There were times when it was harder for me to accept the falling asleep on my husband. But then it would feel like someone lifted me up again. So I just kept on going, and I want to thank Vladika, Alexei, for helping me by lending his secretary Anna to help me with my so-called white man's paperwork. And I urge you to, especially if you're married and your spouses are still alive, to make a will and to discuss with your spouse and your children if one of you passes away what they should be doing. It's a lot of paperwork and a waste of time. You know, Father Michael spoiled me. He never let me pay the bills. He never let me plan for anything. Anything that we planned to do, he did it. He didn't give me directions how to do anything. So I had to learn how to do all that stuff after he passed away. Like I said, I was a spoiled wife. There were many blessings in our life, even though sometimes things were hard. I know God takes care of people who love Him. And sometimes we send trials and sufferings, but those pass away. As long as we persevere and ask and pray to God for help. He gives us no more than what we can handle. And I want to thank also the priests that came over to our house so many times to talk to my children and I. That was a great blessing. And I also want to say this to the couples that have children, from my own experience and from other people, that sometimes pass away. Decided who's the boss in the family, or who's going to get this or who's going to get. So I urge you to talk with your children and get those things taken care of, so your children don't have to go through that. It's very disheartening at times. And also I would like to thank the Sisterhood of St. Ulysses Church. They did a fundraiser for me, and that's when I really needed the financial help. So I thank them for their help in helping me with some monetary problems. And they're always there for me, like the last 2 days. I don't know what I do without Matushka Kathy and also Matushka Diane. Without being asked, they always offer to help. So God bless them for that. And also a couple of people, one family I know of, Martina and Francisco Gill, that also did a fundraiser for me. So I also like to thank them if they're here. I don't know if they're here or not. And also, you know, I don't drive. I've tried a couple of times to learn how to drive, but I think I felt like my heart would jump out of my chest, so I couldn't drive. So the one person that faithfully drove me around, especially to church, that person I want to thank, Frida McCord. And also her daughter, Ronnie McCord. After a while, it's not too easy to ask people to help you. But with those two, I felt like I could want to go to church really. Because my mother used to tell me losing a spouse is the hardest thing you can go through. And the only thing that helps you to
I wasn't prepared for remarks today. I really thank everybody, all their work. If we were able to get enough thank you in prayer, and then to continue his work in the church, in the Alaska community, was to see this glorification. I want to go over to grace, your grace, and everyone involved making that happen. Was everything to my guys part of this. And prayers for my mom would be appreciated. Thank you.
To at least get the beginnings of love, of acceptance of one another. When his father passed, I asked him, what was the most important thing that your father taught you in your lifetime? And he said, without a second thought, Christ is risen. And he said it was such joy. So having the commandments of loving God and love one another, he woke up with that every day, along with Christ is risen, and how he could convey that to the rest of the world. And with that, he was able to do so much. And with that, he was able to help spread the love of God. And he said, you only do good for goodness sake, to the glory of God. And I think with those motivations, with that message, we can love God, love one another better, and spread that Christ is risen. And offer that to the world so they can come and experience this beautiful community that we have. We have such a beautiful, powerful, real life in the church, with the Eucharist, with their sacraments, with loving one another purely. And we really, really need to share that. And I think that was the basis of his existence, was to get more and more people to come to the truth. And he was very, very blessed. Very blessed to have, to be part of the clergy, to serve under the bishops of the Diocese of Alaska, to have brotherhood with his other priests. He genuinely loved and prayed for every single one of you. If he knew you, he prayed for you by name. And that was very, very beautiful to see. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Christ is risen, and it's very beautiful. And we have to keep that with us so we can have encouragement every single day. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for coming.
I guess I wasn't really prepared to give a speech either. I don't think I've ever heard my mom talk for that long. So I'm glad someone got it on camera so there's proof. I guess I just want to echo what all my siblings have said. My father was a great man in many ways, and I know that he touched so many people's lives. When he passed away, people were coming out of the woodwork to visit us, and I tried to take pictures of everyone that visited, and I know I didn't get everybody. But there are people that, I hadn't seen since 1982, and they're coming by, 40 years or something, they're coming by to say how much they love our family, how much my dad's work meant to them. That it's, even though there's all this time that has passed and has touched them across all this time, that they carry those different messages that come about love and compassion, about mercy and forgiveness, about how we can accept each other and find common differences across cultures, and how his words are change the way that people think, and they change the way that people behave. So that to me is a really powerful legacy, and something that I try to carry in my heart every day. I'm going on a tangent. I was really, really touched by how many people came out. My dad was a very brilliant man, as you know, and an excellent public speaker, and he spoke all these different languages, and he traveled around the world, and he taught at universities. Really super smart, but absolutely not smart with money. Because he was on, I will call it the God will provide plan, which is, oh, he thinks someone else needs it more than I do, or he has something and somebody else has nothing to give away his money. I have $100 and I'm in Africa. I'll just give this money. Oh, wait, I have no way to get home. God will provide. Oh, I'm in Romania and something weird happens and I'm pulled over by the federal police. It's okay. God will provide. We're in Denali and there's a landslide and we're stuck behind 2 tons of mud. It's okay. God will provide. Don't worry. God will provide. And I used to be really frustrated with that because I'm like, please talk to a financial planner. Please have an IRA. Please have really trying by the outpouring of love and support for my family and especially support my mom. I was really worried because my dad, would give everything away, that there wouldn't be anything left for her. So for all the fundraisers, for everyone that has stopped by to say hello, to say that I love you, that has helped with crazy bank statements and the IRS and the mortgage and all the stuff that I can't really help with from a different time zone. I'm really, really appreciative. It means it means a lot to me that my dad's words that God will provide are coming to fruition, and I just don't know how to wrap this up except by saying thank you so much for all of your love and for all of your support. Brianna. Is there anyone else? Oh, Mike.
Didn't really prepare any remarks, but I want to echo what everybody else in my family has already said. The support has been great. As the youngest, I'm being real. There were times where selfish, I resent how much my dad had to be away or dealing with parishioners' problems, but with a little age and maturity, I've come around to seeing how important it was. I don't know if it's proper to be proud, but I'm proud of the work that my father did in Alaska, all around the world. I miss him, and just want to thank everybody for all the support and love. The church, Olga, all these people out here. And I guess that's all I got. God bless you.
Anybody else?
I only can say before Brother Michael met my sister, he was kind of comical for me. I thought he was attracted to me. He kept following me. What are you doing? Get back. Like Laurel and Hardy. You're gonna scare the game away. Stay back. And he looked back right behind me. What are you doing? And it was at for me, I met him when there was a little church house where the elder Father Tanqilria Senior used to live. And he taught me the I'll never forget it up to this day.
We'll sing it this year. We'll sing it this year.
And then my family always went to spring camp in the springtime. And then one day we arrived at the spring camp. I don't know what the attraction was. I had no idea. He came up smiling at him smiling at me. I had no idea. I go out walking in the tundra, follow me. I look close by me, go, move back. Scare the animals away. He did. We kept going. We saw some game. We crawled on the tundra. He was right behind me. What are you doing? Game? It wasn't the last thing that flew away. There were lots of more everywhere. And I'm going to let you shoot. Shoot that one over there. Right there. Almost fall back. You got it, yay! We were happy that day. This was during my high school years. He never told me what he was doing. I didn't figure it out until we got married. And I wasn't invited. I was in high school in China. So that's how I met Father Michael. And I was better than him walking. Yeah, summertime tundra is hard to walk. It's very soft. You have to learn to keep your back. I don't remember what day, what month, but I've seen pictures of it. That's when I figured that out. Oh, he was after my sister. Thank you.
If nobody's going to talk now, our family has some gifts to give away. As I guess everybody knows, Father Michael really pushed for the glorification of Blessed Matryoshka Olga. So since he's worked so hard for her to be glorified, we have some icons to give to you. Also, we have some earth that I brought with me from Wicked to give away too. It's not, we have it in very little, like little bags. And I'm thinking of giving one icon for each family, so that way we can give out more to other families. So when we go around with the icons, if you're of one household, let us know so we can give you one, so we can give some more to other people. Thank you.
And before you leave, please take cake. There's lots of cakes back here in honor of Father Michael. So please help yourself.
And we also had them bless the icons that we're giving out, and we also are giving out crosses. Those are already blessed by Father Mark. Oyana.
Health, life, salvation, and visitation, and furtherance, and all blessed things, unto the family of the Archpriest Michael, Alaska, the Matryoshka, Xania, and her children, and for their children, his grandchildren, and all their family, and grant them many years.
Now there will be a song.
Thou didst come into the midst of thy disciples, and didst grant them peace. Come to us and save us, O Savior. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen. Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. Master,
Have mercy on us and nourish us from his finest gift, whose grace and love for mankind, always, now, and ever, and unto ages of ages.